Shayan Elahi, a civil rights attorney in Dallas. He is a Pakistani-American. He joins us through Skype. The release of this CCTV footage is going to inflame a situation which is already highly volatile.
It may, but the focus should remain the same, that another black teenager who was unarmed was shot by a police officer in broad daylight. So it doesn't matter what this gentleman was doing beforehand. The whole idea is that he was unarmed and he was killed in his own neighborhood.
Shayan, first to you, you had told our producers that you think there would be too many constitutional problems with a ban on Muslims entering the country from certain terror hotspots. But where in the Constitution does it say that you can't vet people from places that are really dangerous in the world who might want to hurt us?
Sure, banning is not vetting. You're talking about banning Muslims. He didn't say vetting. Vetting is completely fair, and we should scrutinize everybody.
This week?
President-elect Trump said that he's going ahead. That's what your topic is. So let me talk about that. The pathology of President-elect Trump is to knee-jerk react to everything that happens in the world, right? Then he backtracks. He still hasn't given an actual policy on how he's going to go about this ban because it's not feasible. For any policy to work, it needs to be constitutional, politically acceptable, and basically has to be implementable, right? Someone has to implement it. How are you going to ban all Muslims? And if someone comes to the embassy and says, I'm not a Muslim, are you going to let them in? I mean, it's just not a workable situation. I think President-elect Trump has no idea what he's talking about.
My understanding of what the President-elect said this week was that he thinks that he's been 100% right about everything that he's said so far, but he did not call for a ban on Muslims this week from my perspective down at Mar-a-Lago covering him.
No, he actually said that. He actually said that. He was asked a question, hey, are you going to go ahead with the ban on Muslims? And he said, yes, I've been 100% right. So here, the determination was made by the police department that this is a no-go. You know, stand your ground, immunity applies, and there's no further issue to be looked at. And the state attorney went along with that. See, and there's something wrong about that, because everything that came out of the press showed that objectivity of that investigation was being questioned. So at that point, the state attorney needed to be more reflective on what had occurred. Grand jury meets for 6 months, and they meet once every month, and either something can be referred to them or not, depending on what's going on. He didn't have to make this public whatsoever. I think just right there, he's basically telling people, hey, you know, I'm sending this to the grand jury. They'll make that decision. The state attorney controls what evidence he brings in front of the grand jury, and we will never know what he brings in front of. So he can decide not to play those non-elections. I'm not saying he will, but there's a chance that he gets to control the narrative. There's no defense attorney there. There's no judge there. There's no objective party present. No one's deny Mr. Zimmerman his due process rights. We all believe in that. That's what the Constitution wants, all right? And that's what we all believe in. But Commissioner Putman can initiate on his own some sort of investigation as to whether that investigation that should have led to an arrest was proper or not.
And I want to get your take on this, Shayan. Peter King talks about how, hey, this has been done in American Italian communities and Irish communities back in the day to stop gangs and the mafia. It worked then. Is it wrong now?
Well, first of all, I'm a civil rights attorney and also an American Muslim, but one, this is not a mafia. We're talking about First Amendment right of religious freedom and also the right to not be legally searched and seized, which is a constitutional right. So when we talk about Muslims at large, we must distinguish between American Muslims who have the protection of the Constitution and Muslims in large and the problems we face regarding radicalization.
You know, numbers don't lie. There are more African-American unarmed black males being killed in America by police officers than anyone else. That's just the truth.
All right, Shayan Elahi, civil rights attorney from Dallas. We have to leave it there, but thank you for your expertise.